these lists freely so that people can use it as a reference. But if you're launching a Web3 project, always look at the Web3 focus influencer in spaces, because otherwise you may be speaking to the wrong crowd. Find your voice. I can't stress this enough. On the left, you can see one of the most famous female Web3 influencers. Her name is Crypto Wendy O, but she specializes in, reviewing crypto projects. It could be trading projects. In the middle, you have Crypto's RS, and on the right, you have Mr. Beast. So all these three represents different types of influencers. It is important to find the voice that represents your project the best. So in some examples, Mr. Beast, the one on the right, worked with one of our clients, Star Atlas, which is a very, very popular, actually did very well. It was a space exploration Web3 game. So Mr. Beast was a perfect fit. On the left, Wendy O does a lot of trading. So if you're familiar with Celsius network, although the future of Celsius network is now uncertain, but Crypto Wendio was a very strong advocate for them. And you can see, her reviews, her technology explainers really, really went far for that platform. But this is where I'm always sharing. Don't just assume that an influencer, just because they have a lot of followers, means it's a good fit for your project. You have to find the right type of voice that matches your project. If it's a gaming project, if it's a like a social platform, if it's a Bitcoin mining, whatever it may be, make sure you're finding not just the right influencer, but the influencer that represents the voice and the brand voice that you want to have. All right, I'm zooming through these concepts, but it's early morning where you are. I want to make sure whoever got up early to listen to my talk gets the most amount of value. So let's see. Oh, here's a good list. Definitely take a screenshot, but these are the top Web3 publications in media. Cointelegraph with the most followers. But you can see here a lot of these publications, I would say, don't just approach them without an agency. Chances are agencies will have a discounted rates for most of these if they partner with them. And also they have access to, it's not just a press release. They can also get features. So these are the top Web3 publications. Take a screenshot. These are the publications you want to make sure you get in front of if you're going to be, pushing any type of content out. Okay, so now I want to kind of switch gears. I know I'm about halfway through, but as far as marketing your Web3 project, I always turn the table around and I say, why are you a Web3 project? If you're trying to market something as unique as a Web3 project, you have to understand what Web3 projects provide to the community. It's not just another, social media app. It's not just, Web3 is not just, another banking system. Web3 provides you a unique way to tap into your users that has never been done before. Kind of like what I shared at the very beginning. It gives you access and they have, true ownership. It could be a token. It could be access to communities. And I'm going to go over some of the top use cases that you can build your marketing stories around. So I would break it down into these 5 here, and I'll give some examples to help illustrate it. Feel free to get some coffee. There's going to be some pretty good ideas and examples. So I'll go through these first 5. So rewarding superfans. So leveraging IP through digital collectibles and memberships. I'll give a good example here, but basically this is for brands that have a strong, strong user base, and you can reward them with some sort of incentive, like an IP, for example, like Marvel Studios. They have excellent IPs, like Iron Man. And so now you can I'll give an example right now, but I'll give more later. Imagine if you can have the digital rights to, of course, this is probably not going to be the case, but digital rights to Iron Man. And every time a movie that uses or game uses Iron Man character in something else, because you are a partial owner of that IP, you can get income through that income stream. So this is one unique example. Number two, building loyalty. I'll go through an example there. Number three, virtual worlds in the metaverse, new experiences through existing and new platforms. Number four, exclusive content. So now you can put content only available to actively engage audiences. It's called token gating. Just think of like, let's say your favorite, well, I'll give an example later, but let's say your favorite type of, I don't know, like a favorite restaurant, and only people that have this membership to this restaurant get access to the chef's specialties or the chef's recommendations, right? We're actually working a few restaurant projects that is doing this. Voting rights. Sometimes because you have ownership into those projects, now you can vote on new initiatives or let's say new ideas that get rolled out at the project. You know, there are much more than this, but these are kind of the top 5 use cases that we've seen across our clients. So here's one example. So if you're familiar with these companies called Coca-Cola, so Coca-Cola, a very well-known company. I'm sure everybody loves Coca-Cola. They love drinking Coca-Cola. They love collecting Coca-Cola products. So Coca-Cola actually released an NFT because they wanted to reward super fans. So these digital assets gave them access to, you know, different, let me see if I can find them on my next slide here. But yeah, so just a little bit about the company. This is, you know, they're very, very old historic brand. So they launched an NFT collectibles for charity. So it's this mystery box where you can get special access. It was a partnership between Coca-Cola and the Special Olympics. All the proceeds were actually donated to charity, but you basically get a few things that's unique to you. So A, you get a jacket, a Coca-Cola jacket that only you have that you can wear in the metaverse, right? Coca-Cola friendship card, limitless programmability, and shared economics. Of course, they didn't flesh that all out, but you would be the owner of this card that nobody else has. So you can get access to, you know, concerts, physical goods, in-game assets. It can be a lot of things, but this is just one example of what Coca-Cola did, and it also had a nonprofit angle. So you can see here, it gives brands, existing brands, but new brands, unique ways to spin the message. Now, I wanted to give another example here. So if everyone's familiar with a car company called Renault, it's more popular in Europe, but Renault is a very common automobile company. So they're launching a new car called the Mobilize Dual, and this is actually one of CrowdCreate's clients. And in the Web3 space, I mean, this is in the metaverse. So they're building a showroom. We're helping them build a showroom where you can customize your car, you can test out the car, you can change the colors in the metaverse, and you can experience it without actually having to go to the Paris Auto Show, right? So this is a cool way that we're helping Renault give access to more people. But this is also a very unique angle, and I want to share what they did on their marketing side, because this is a perfect example of Web3 project, a metaverse activation, finding unique ways to gamify or to market the whole concept. So basically the project launch, it's called Dual Custom. So any user can go and customize this car. You can put, you know, very unique colors. You can put, one of them was you can put like a Jurassic Park cover on the car. You can make it look like Back to the Future car. But basically what happens was there's a customization and there's a leaderboard. And whoever, so this is actually running live right now. If you go to our CrowdCreate Twitter, you can get access to it. But you basically customize your own car. You publish it to the leaderboard. You can see it in the metaverse, and people can vote on your car. So you can say, you know, if Steven here from C# makes his own customized dual, he pushes it on the internet and people can vote on it. And the top, I believe is like the top 10 who win the leaderboard get a 3D printed version of their model sent to them, and you get a Ledger crypto wallet sent to you. So these are kind of unique ways that you can activate, you know, users in a Web3 project. But of course, if you want to see the details of how it works, you can always go to CrowdCreate's Twitter and we're actually posting it there, but feel free to join entering into the Web3 metaverse world. Here's another example. So you can turn user-generated content into social shares. So social media profiles can now be made into verifiable NFTs on social media platforms like Facebook and Instagram. So now, when people are going out, they're talking on their social media accounts, by them putting a profile picture of your project, it gives you visibility, but also lets them brag about how they're being a part of a project, right? So this goes into the whole ownership concept, where if you can get very famous people or influential people to be a part of your project, they put it on their social media profile, they can only be the ones that put it in, because if you look at the blockchain, they're the only owners. They can be verified. And more of these platforms, such as Instagram and Facebook, are now able to verify that your account actually holds that NFT. So you can see there are ways to do the marketing, and platforms are also enabling this to happen. So this is all happening right now as we speak, and it's truly the future. And here's another example. I know I'm going pretty fast, but I hope everyone's kind of picking up on some gems here. But Starbucks, I know this is a very popular brand. I'm sure a lot of people are very familiar with Starbucks. You can probably find one at a local corner. But did you know Starbucks just launched a Web3 loyalty rewards program? Yeah, it's pretty surprising. It came out of nowhere, but it's interesting that a brand like Starbucks, which is a very Web2 world, right? This is coffee, baristas, but now they have a Web3 loyalty project or reward system where you can buy coffees, you get rewarded back in NFTs. You can use it to redeem rewards. You can, it's basically getting Web2 people into the Web3 space, but in the back end, everything is a Web3 component. So they're still building this out, but you can know. And interestingly, Polygon, who's also part of this C# Bcrypt conference, is a part of how they're rolling it out. So they're using them as their layer one. So big shout out to the Polygon team. That's awesome. Another example is you can build loyalty, brand loyalty, and engagement with social tokens. So you can give fans experiences that they could never have before. For example, if you're a big fan of, Real Madrid, if you own these tokens, like let's say if they come out with the NFT, they can say you have access to a meet and greet with some of those football stars. You can get access to some of the swag, get access to some of the jerseys that are limited edition. And the only way to get access if you own those tokens, right? So this is another concept behind, Web3. You can make very unique types of engagement and loyalty programs that couldn't have been done before, because there's true ownership on these NFTs or Web3 components, right? All right, I'm running close to the end of my time here, but I want to go through all my examples. Marketing in the metaverse. So if you're a Web3 project, Web3 people are visible and they participate in other Web3 types of ecosystems. So one of them, most famously, is the metaverse. So there are metaverses called like Sandbox, Decentraland. These are virtual worlds where people can visit. A good example is, Tommy Hilfiger, Skechers, Adidas. They all have a presence in these metaverse lands, and it's as simple as just purchasing land, and you can build it to be basically like your billboard. So this is another example. A lot of projects are doing this. So if you go to Sandbox and you look at the map, many of the top crypto projects will have land there. All right, so I'm going to zoom past this. I know we're going fast, but just another example. H&M, which is a very popular fast fashion company, launches a virtual reality shopping experience. So this is another example. They're bringing a lot of the real life experiences of shopping and into the digital space. I really want to highlight this particular example. So in the world of Web3, because you have ownership, people are playing with the idea of you owning an avatar you owning an avatar of the likeness of your face or whoever you create it, and you can use that across all the virtual worlds. Some people are even imagining if you can even put it into other video games, right? So, and you would own that asset, individually. A good example is Ready Player Me. Definitely take a look at that. So, this is another example. One more to go. You can even host virtual concerts. So, these are ways you can partner. If you have a Web3 project, partner with ecosystems, partner with existing community members, partner with influencers, and you can make really unique type of experiences for people. A really good one is virtual concerts in a metaverse. Most recently, Justin Bieber, John Legend, they have all launched their metaverse concert. So you can kind of see the pluses and minuses of getting into the Web3 space. But if you ask me, one of the big ways, big benefits of being a Web3 company is just the way in which you can work with and you can incentivize and you can give your users and fans ownership into what you're building. That's truly what's unique in the Web3 space. And I encourage everyone to get into this space because it's not just about marketing, it's about giving something to users that they could never have done it before and sharing that as your marketing message. All right, so that wraps up my presentation. Thank you so much for having me on the stage. I hope you're having a wonderful morning at Bcrypt. And yeah, if anybody has any questions or how to reach me, you can find me at, you can follow us on Twitter at CrowdCreate. And you can always message me at ivan@crowdcreate.us. I think I'm right on time here, but thank you everyone for listening, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your time at the conference.